Hanshi Kiowa. Hello, hello, hello. How are you all? Welcome to Homelands on CFCR 90.5 FM in Saskatoon, Homelands in the Métis and Treaty 6 territory. Andrea Letting Dishnu Kashoon. My name is Auntie Andrea Letting. Call me Auntie Andy if you like, and I'll be your host over this next hour. And we are here with David Fineday. He is a 60s scoop survivor. He is an advocate for the homeless and unhoused and those on the streets. And he is a hereditary war chief, descended directly from Fineday. So, welcome, David, and we look forward to you sharing over this next hour. So, thank you.
Howdy, David Fineday, Sweetgrass First Nations, Treaty 6 Territory, Turtle Island. Wow, glad to be back. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and the beginning of your year is starting good. Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit more about housing. Um, now that it's so cold, I'm still in a housing upset. I have to be out by the end of January. I have my name in many places. I'm just waiting for phone calls or whatever for someone to get back to me. A lot of these places, there's lineups already, and it takes a while to get into them. Some of them, I think two or three places, they have to do assessment on me at what level of the home care I need. Um, I recently went through Office of the Rentals Men, in which I lost, in which I took it to King's Bench Court, and I lost again. With judgments like that from these appeals and courts, I wonder why there's so much homeless people out there. Now I don't wonder. Now I know why. With judgments like that being made through Office of the Rentalsman, and you lose and you go to King's Bench Court, and there was laws in there from the Residential Tenancy Act that were broken, but nothing was done about it. I got locked out of my building, not out of my apartment, out of my building. And it states in there that you cannot change the locks to go in and out of your building without letting the tenant know. I got locked out for 24 hours without my medicine, without my smudging gear. I got locked out with my jeans and my t-shirt, but they never made no regard of that. Plus being blind, what was I supposed to do? Everybody gets the same treatment. What do? So they go to the street. They don't ask questions. They just go with the flow. Me, I'm not like that. I'll fight that flow. I'll go to the top. I don't care. Especially when you know that your rights are being broken. It's a treaty right to have a house. It's a human right to have a house. Where does one go to complain about that? To take it to court to go to human rights. Let's go to court about this then. I got 3,000 people behind me. Let's go to court. And that's only in Saskatoon. What about going to Regina, Prince Albert? Let's go to Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg. Let's get 50,000 people who want their human rights to be righted. It's like this big truck convoy. What if all these human people are who aren't getting their human rights met, their treaty rights met? What if we stand up and say, hey, this ain't right? Yeah. It's quite a thing when it, it really, it confuses me in one way, and yet I think, well, there's solutions for all of this, but people don't listen to those solutions. I've gone to meetings downtown. What's wrong with having a tent city? Thousands of years, that's how we survived in teepees, teepee circles. And the only time that those teepee circles ever got ruined was when the army came in there and burnt them and destroyed them, or natural wildfires on the prairies. Other than that, nothing ever happened. We grew families in there. Elders seen families, seen their children, their grandchildren, their great grandchildren grew up in stuff like that. And we're laughing and playing and weren't hungry and weren't cold. But that now the way it is today, I don't see none of that. Very, very little of it. I don't know if we can bring back our teepee circle. Colonialism says we can't. How can we change that so our people can get halfways back to where they should be? I know how it is to live in a teepee. It's awesome to have a fire right beside you when you go to sleep. Start a fire when you wake up in the morning. Have a nice hot drink. To see your kids wake up early in the morning. To see your grandchildren wake up and hear them laughing and having a good time first thing in the morning. You don't see that nowadays. And that's what's missing. Everything's always, that's mine, that's mine. No, you can't have that. You don't hear no laughing and giggling and kids having fun in the morning. People hollering around on the streets, rah, 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 high on that stuff. You know, people dying of that stuff every day, every day. Well, one thing I haven't heard of anybody freezing yet or anything like that. Just that one lady came up to me, lost all her fingertips. That's the roughest thing I heard so far this year. But like I said, if I hear of anything, I'll be out there. Just I don't even care. We saved lives last year, and so far it's helped to save lives this year. Now you can go walk down the street, and if you see anybody sitting on the street laying down there, you call the police. You call say we don't outreach. You can phone anywhere, and they'll pick them up and they'll put them somewhere. Now they have that law that they can pick them up mandatory. Mm, self oh, where if they think that you can't take care of yourself, they can put you in a place if you don't put yourself in there involuntary. Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but I believe for some people that would be okay, but for some people they will fight it. And human rights, it all comes down to human rights. To me, it all comes down to the reason why. Why are they there? Why are they doing that? Now they're there. Are you going to help them get out? Society helped put them in there. So how can society pick on people like that if you put them there? Don't you think it would be better to go and grab one or two or three of them and say, "Hey, come on, let's go talk. Let's go tell them why. Why are you there?" Once they start talking, it's a never-ending story. From your when you're scooped till you're 5, till you're 10, till you're 12. There's stories in every one of those ages. Some of them hurt, some of them are fun. But how do you get over the hurt ones? Nobody's out there to deal with anybody like that. Go figure it out on your own. That's pretty much what I had to do. But I had a lot of friends on the street because I've been here so long. And people would give me advice here and there. There's lots of good people on 20th Street. And just have to be there and listen to them and take your advice the proper way, not get mad and walk away and do something wrong. I notice lots of people, that happens to lots of people. They get dragged into things that they shouldn't have got dragged into. But while oh yeah, we missed that last one. I'd like to have a shout out to Mildred Kerr, my friend, who won Woman of the Year in Saskatoon. I'm so proud of her. I'm so glad that I know her. She has taught me lots through equal justice back in the 90s. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be sitting here talking. So I just got to say, thank you, Mildred. You've been an inspiration to me on talking about homelessness, about going through all these court stuff, and it's been really a real good training for me. I wish we could train others to do that too, to stand up and be advocates. There's starting to be a few now, so, but they need you to fine tune them. No, just kidding. But congratulations, Mildred. Yeah, it's one thing to see it, homelessness, but it's one thing to have to deal with the people and then help them to find solutions to what they're going through. And that's what we need help with advocacy work. There's a chief and then there's counselors. Well, those counselors were the advocates. They're the ones that talk to all the people in the teepees. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay, go up to the chief. Okay, we have these problems. Well, let's sit down and talk about it. Well, bring that family. Let's talk. What do they need? No, go get their kids. Take them away from them. Hmm. Like I said, in the teepee circle, you couldn't hide nothing. You've seen it all. You also heard it all because there was no walls. There was no sound barriers. Hmm. That's what a lot of these people need is that education on home style, how to live in a home, how to keep it clean, how to cook, how to take care of kids. It doesn't matter how old you are when you have kids, as long as you're taught how to take care of them, how to feed them, how to change them, how to educate them. When you're taken away from your family, you lose all of that, just like I did. I was put in a little basement room, and I still have trauma from that. I didn't have nobody, no elders, no aunts, no uncles to talk to. Just go in this room in the basement. Yeah, if you weren't working or eating, then you were in your room. I don't know. I can imagine that happened to a lot of other people. I've seen other kids that happen to too. And they're the same thing, they're traumatized. That's why a lot of these people are homeless too, because of their traumas that they've gone through. Sure, they can find them places and everything, but what about the trauma? What about the abuse? What else happened? Psychological, physical, sexual. The trauma of not being fed. You didn't work, so you can't eat. There's all those things. When you're beat into working, yeah, you get older. No, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to take that beating no more. No, they kind of ruined it for me. They don't realize the lives that they ruin when they do stuff like that to young people. How they're traumatized for the rest of their life. Just like me. I have traumas that I go through still. PTSD. I see certain things and wow. How how does one get over stuff like that? Reading it through a book, talking to some psychiatrist. How does a person get over all that trauma? We need elders. We need elders to talk to, somebody who can ask us the right questions, who can give us the right answers to start to heal. That's why I go out there. Like I said, I'm not an elder, I'm an old man, and I love to pray and smudge. And that's what I do out there. I go out and I talk to the people. And lots of them have questions, but they're too scared to ask a lot of times. But they'll come up to me and ask me a question, and I'll try and answer it the best I can. If I can't, I'll say, well, go talk to this person, go talk to that person. That's the whole difference between approaching people like that. I don't tell them they have problems, because I have problems. And I don't want nobody telling me that. So why would I go tell anybody else they got a problem? But I'll help them. How can I help you? Let's go for a walk. Let's talk. Let's sit down here. Yeah, that's what needs to be done to unleash all that hatred and abuses and everything in their life. That's the only way they can heal is if they talk about it. And I know it's damn hard to talk about it because when I first started healing, I cried. Yeah, many, many tears, much anger. That was 35 years ago. And today I'm still healing and I'm still very emotional. It still hurts. I don't know if that hurt will ever go away, but you have to realize that's what all those people out there are facing. All the hurts, all the abuses that they've went through. And they don't know how to heal. They don't know where to start. Get out of here. Go on. That doesn't do it. Come in. Can I buy you a coffee? How are you doing? I don't smoke cigarettes, but I always have a pack on me. And that always starts a conversation. Mhm. And everybody knows I don't smoke and I always have cigarettes. David, you got a cigarette? Yeah. Oh, how you doing today? You need some help or what? What's happening? All of a sudden, blah, 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 blah. 2 hours later, or cigarettes later, you get a story out of somebody why they're the way they are. But who's listening to help them besides me? Where's all those millions and millions of dollars going that's supposed to be out there helping them? Sure, housing, housing, yeah. What about the mental aspect of it? What they've all been through. How can they heal from all of that? Psychiatrists, I've seen them sit there $500-600 an hour and not talk to nobody. And yet elders can sit there and get paid a pack of smokes or blankets or whatever. And they can do more good than those psychiatrists could. I wish there were more elders, not even anybody out there who's been there, done that, just like me, who can stand up and say, "Hey, let's talk." Sure, I get upset sometimes, and I'm ready to stomp my feet and pull out my hair and go up to somebody and say, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" But I was I was told that that doesn't work anymore. That's why I encourage all these young people to go to school, get their education. 200 years ago, you could have a tomahawk, you could have a bow and arrow, and you could take care of your problems. Nowadays, you can't do that. Yes, you could, but it has to be done properly. Go to school, learn how to read, learn how to write, learn how to talk. That'll be your weapon. And today I see that. I laughed when I first heard that. But today I see it because I can go anywhere and talk and tell the truth, and people get so upset. I've had people come 2 inches from my face trying to punch me in the middle of a meeting. These big public meetings, yeah, where other people would be intimidated. I just sat there and I just laughed. Yeah, a meeting of the chiefs, chief of police, the chief fire inspector, the chief health inspector. I forget there was a few other chiefs, and then there was me. I was the last chief. So I started talking and I started telling them my story. And the landlord gets up out of the crowd and comes right at me, and he's beet red, just like a tomato. He come to me, just was gonna attack me. He come about 2 inches from my face to punch me, and I just burst out laughing. And they just look at me and said, "Hey, you see, this is the kind of problem I'm causing." I said, "Anything happens to me, you know where to go look." And that guy sat down and he was just steaming. That's how mad he was. But he knew he couldn't touch me because he knew everybody seen what he did. Is that a charge? Could I have charged him for that? What is that? Attempted assault or something? I don't know. Intimidation? What is that? It's really quite something. But like I said, I've been intimidated like that in a lot of meetings. Backhands, punches, verbal verbal abuse. It's really something. When you go to these public meetings, how come City Hall isn't there? How come FSIN? How come STC isn't there to hear all these questions, to hear all this stuff said out there? It's because they have a paycheck, they have a job, so they don't have to really say nothing. Because if they do, then they'll lose their job. I know. I've been there, done that. No, David, you can't talk like that. David, if you talk like that, we're going to let you go. Yeah. 5 years, I got into all these kind of committees, homelessness, anti-poverty, everything. When I started talking, then at my job, they said, no, David, you can't talk like that. So I quit everything. I retired 5 years ago. Now I can say whatever I want, and people don't like that. But somebody has to, in order to save all the stuff that's happening in the city. Like I said, I don't want to lose no more people. We lost too many people, too much relatives. Now, how can we turn that around? How can we start saving them? If 200 can die, how can we save 500? If we find, if you find 1,000 people homeless out there, then you can be guaranteed there's 3,000 out there. Because you only find 1 in 3 out there. You guys do all your studies about homelessness and everything, and I don't know. I've been doing this for 30 years now, and nothing's changed in 30 years. There's still homelessness out there. Oh, I have to use.
Hey, it's
But
perfect timing for a break. So
right.
don't go anywhere. Don't turn that dial, and we'll see you on CFCR 90.5 FM in Saskatoon. This has been Homelands with David Fineday.
Where's the washroom?
Straight down the hall. The Fineday?
This way?
Liver, so straight. So up this door and then straight down. That is a straight line, yeah. All the way till you get to the door. Yeah. Welcome back to Homelands on CFCR 90.5 FM in Saskatoon, Homelands of the Métis and Treaty 6 territory. This is your favorite Auntie Andrea, letting Dishnu Cashew. Call me Auntie Andy if you like. And we're here with David Fineday, and he's talking about, houselessness in the city, his experience as a 60s scoop survivor, and all kinds of things around that. So, yeah, go ahead, David.
Howdy, back again. Um, yeah, this housing crisis. It's been going on for many years. Oh, like I said, I've been studying homeless people for a long time with some people, and it's to the point where there's no need to study them anymore. The question is, why are they out there? And what can be done to help them? 3,000 homeless people out there, 3,000 different scenarios. Every one of them isn't the same. There's probably no two the same out there. So how can we start to help all those individuals, the families, parents, the grandparents that are homeless, the pensioners out there that are homeless? How can we conform to them instead of them having to conform to rules and regulations, and they don't want a house. All they need is a teepee. Plain and simple, and you guys can't see that. Having a teepee, you do need supports. You just can't go and get a teepee and that's it. There's clothing that you have to have, food that needs to be there, showers, outhouses that need to be there. The city's spending so much millions of dollars on, why can't they do that? Comfy, how much was that? 80,000, or how much to keep those washrooms there for how long? Why does it cost so much to have washrooms out there? What company's making all that money? Why can't First Nations people jump in and do that? Why can't we help out our people? You see a lot of these people in big top jobs, they don't come down to the street. They don't come say hi to their nieces, nephews, granddaughters, grandsons. They turn and they walk the other way. Maybe they should go and walk down there and take them. Maybe they wouldn't end up on the street. Maybe they'd help them go back to school, help them get a part-time job. From there, they could expand on their own with support. I know that because that's what I've done to my kids. Yeah. If they didn't have support, they would have been gone. They would have went their own ways. I had to school them on certain things, and which today I'm glad I showed them proper things, but at the time it really hurt me to show them what I had to show them. I cried trying to show my kids something that I was never ever taught, but I taught my kids that. Now my kids are good. My kids don't even drink. They're not, they work their butts off all the time. And I showed them how to do that. Because I worked all over North America. Now I'm glad I installed that in them. And I hope they're doing that to their kids too. So, but that's what it takes, somebody to show them the proper way, to encourage them to do this. And say, no, don't do that. Don't be a gangster. Go volunteer. Go get a job over there. Go to school. What do you want to be? A fireman? You want to be a policeman? You want to be a doctor? A lawyer? Childcare worker? Many, many, many things out there for people to do now. Not just go and play. Get out of here. If you have the right people encouraging you, you can do it. I've seen many families do that, where it just takes one little talking to and just change somebody's life. Hey, maybe I'll do that. Yeah, that makes me happy. Do what makes you happy. Not, oh, I gotta go to work today. Oh, busy. Yeah, let's go. I gotta go. I gotta be there early. You don't have to go to work. You want to go to work. That's the whole thing. If you're in a good job or just one where you have to be there, go to school and learn something where you want to learn it. You want to learn more about kids. You want to learn more about farming. You want to know more about plumbing. how to be an electrician, how to be a carpenter, how to do childcare, how to be a masseuse, give massages. Like there's so many things out there. Be an airplane pilot, be an airplane mechanic. There's so many different things out there. It's endless. And you have that choice to make your own choice, whatever you want to do. That's why I'd like to get into grades 7 to 12, where I could talk to the kids like this. We're not do this, do that, do that, do that. No, I think I'm going to try and do this. Yeah, maybe I can get some help through education from my reserves so I can go try and be a cook. I can go try be a model. I can go try be a secretary, a doctor. Sure, it takes time to do all that, but in the end, you'll say thanks. I've seen that in a lot of people, a lot of these young kids out there. They're already 30, 40 years old, and they're happy that they're out there. They don't have to be out there. They want to be out there. And that's the whole difference. I didn't want to be out there. I had to be out there. There were certain things I couldn't deal with, certain things people couldn't deal about me, and I didn't have no place to go for help. So I went out there and I was on my own because nobody could understand me. Look at how many other people out there people don't understand. Why? That's my question to you is why are they out there? Why was I out there? Trying to tell you my side of this story, and it hurts. A lot of those people can't sit there and tell their story just like me. It's like Melody. She was here talking with me last time, and she was having a rough time trying to bring it out. But she's learning just like I'm learning. It still hurts me. I still come to tears, but that's healing. Before I couldn't sit down here and talk like this. I'd be up and so pissed off. Yeah. But I've learned to sit down and talk and let it out gradually, and I'm healing. I'll never stop healing. I know that because there's always something every day that comes into memories. And that happens to all of them. That's why they're walking the way they're walking. Yeah. They don't want that to happen to them no more. The neglect, the anger, the hunger, the loneliness. So they make their own little tent over there. So let them be there. That's the only way that they can find peace in their heart is to be with themselves. They can't find it with nobody else because there's been too much disaster in their life. And that can be any kind of disaster. A lot of them can't heal from that. A lot of them just partially heal. A lot of them can fully heal. And that makes them tougher. Just like me, I'll never fully heal, but I am healing. And that's why I can go out and I can start to help other people. And I cry with them. A lot of them tell stories, same thing as me, and it hurts. But the only way to start to deal with it is to talk about it and keep talking about it. I really recently went through a rooming board interview, And I don't know what happened to me in that interview. I started telling my story, and I don't know, it opened doors, phone numbers, addresses, dates, names. I don't even know. 3 hour interview. An hour and a half into it, I was losing it. I don't know where all that stuff came out of my head. Stop, stop, stop right now. What's the matter? Just go get me a cooler. I need a cooler. Because I was shaking right up. Sure enough, they stopped the interview. They went and got me a cooler. An hour and a half later, we finished that interview. Yeah. I never realized the trauma that I had gone through until I did that interview. A lot of people don't want to be interviewed because it brings back that trauma. Yeah. I put it all away and I locked it all in a closet in the back of my head. And then all of a sudden that day I unlocked that closet and wow. That's what happens when you go through all that stuff. You put it away in your head. All of a sudden one day, oh, tell us your story. No, come on. What's the matter with you? Come on, tell us your story. So you walk away. You don't want to tell your story. People are going to laugh at you and say, ah, right. I've been told that. But until you can live it, you'll never know. And don't put these people down that you see on the street because I know what they've lived through. You don't know what they've lived through. You don't even know how to heal them. Nobody knows how to heal them. That's why they're there. Come for a walk. Let's go and pick out one person each. Let's see if we can try and teach them, show them how to heal, show them how to do this, show them how to do that. I think education is more than a better way to do it than calling people down all the time. You're homeless. Why are they homeless? Can you teach them how not to be homeless? Do you have a house for them? Do you have a teepee for them even? Affordable housing. Uh-oh. I hate talking about affordable housing because back in the day, affordable housing was running out to your local buffalo herd and killing 5 buffalo, and there you got another teepee. And then enough food to feed them for a few months. Can you do that nowadays? I wish there was a buffalo herd right across the street here. Go kill 10 of them, enough, enough hides for, say, 4 teepees, and we could feed all these homeless people for at least a month. But that was back in 200 years ago. Today, what can we do? Get in line at Soup Line, at Salvation Army, at Friendship Inn, at the bridge for some vegetable soup. I don't know what can be done. Why FSIN and STC can't step up and say, hey, let's build a nice big plan and feed our people every day instead of waiting for the Friendship Inn and the bridge. Why can't our people take care of our people? Like they leave us out there and they make the bridge look so good. People donate them food, clothing. Why didn't they take it to Station 20 and give it to First Nations organizations? Same thing with Friendship Inn. They rely on donations. That should be a First Nations run place because probably 60% of the people or more are First Nations that are there. Yeah, I don't know. How can we invest our communities into things that people can do? How can we get sports going out there? How can we get daycares for our people out there? How can we get cooking classes? How do we do that? Instead of just saying going into a community, look at this community is no good. They don't got nothing. How come they don't got nothing? Hmm? Who has the money to come in to Pleasant Hill right now and say, come on, let's make a hockey team. Let's make a ball team. Let's make a soccer team. Let's go and get a place where you can do gymnastics, where we can get all these kids involved in stuff like that. Basketball, where we can put out education forums. Hey, come check it out. Maybe you want to be a carpenter. Hey, check it out. Maybe you might want to be an electrician or a plumber. Give these kids a chance. Give them a head start. Maybe they want to be childcare workers. Maybe they want to be dentists, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, as they say. Let's give them a chance, not just say get out at 18. That's the only way you're going to change it, is to be able, someone to be able to go in at the age of 16 or less and start to tell them, hey, 18 years old, you're going to be out of here. Get ready for it. Learn how to read, learn how to write, learn how to cook, learn how to do carpentry, plumbing, electrician. But support those people that want to do that. Be there behind them 200%. You go to school and, oh, you didn't have no breakfast because you didn't have no money to eat. So you go to school hungry. All of a sudden you're crabby. What's the matter? Oh, I didn't eat nothing this morning. Who can step out and help those students? For elementary kids, there's food programs. What about other people? Low income people who can't afford that every day, who can't take lunches. They go to school, they get breakfast, they get dinner, so they miss supper. When I first started this program, we started feeding a bunch of kids at the school where I volunteered. And we had 6 tables. 5 of them, we fed the kids. The last table was, if you had your lunch, you could come and sit down and eat there. I filled up the room, filled up the tables. They're coming in with their lunches. Yeah, sit down over there at the back. Yeah. This one little boy comes in there and he didn't have nothing. Yeah. I said, oh, you come to have some soup? He says, no. He said, I brought my lunch. I said, well, go sit down over there. He never had nothing. Not a bag, nothing. He sat down there and he looked around. Then he digs in his right pocket. Hmm. And he brought out a potato. This is my lunch. He had enough smartness in him that he need to know he knew he needed lunch, but he didn't have nothing. So he brought a potato. Yeah. I went to the front and I got him sandwich, soup, and everything. Right. He was smart enough to do that. How many other kids do that? No, are smart enough to take a potato to school to go have lunch and to have to be embarrassed to pull that out in front of everybody that's eating. Would you do that at work? Take a potato to work and go have lunch with them. Check it out. See how it makes you feel. There's a lot of things what people face, and that's what it does to them. It just brings you down and brings you down to the point where you don't care. You're there, you stay there. All of a sudden, somebody will come on, well, I'll help you. And then you're back on the right track again. But how do you how do you prevent all that? Yeah, I'm glad we started that food program that day. I'll never forget that story, man. I tell lots of people that. How can we avoid stuff like that? More assistance, more, I wouldn't even know. They tell you volunteer, volunteer. You can't volunteer because you're volunteering to keep your fridge full every day to feed your kids, not to help somebody else out. You got to help your own. You got to volunteer and do your own family thing. And that's not volunteer. You have to do it. A lot of these people don't have jobs, paychecks, bank accounts, inheritances, vehicles, all those things that you have to look at. I know I've looked at them many times through my years. Some was good, some was bad, but I look at the good things and I learn from the bad things. And that's where I can go out and talk to people now. I can tell my story. I tell other stories too, but I don't tell who they are or anything. If they want to come out and say who they are, I'll tell them, hey, can I tell your story? Yeah. I said, use your name, yes or no? No. Or yeah, go ahead. So that's what I do. It's not only my story out there. Many, 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 many stories out there. Some of them have been healed, some of them can't be healed, and some of them are still healing. And you can't make an opinion about those people. What do you say? They're dumb. They're hurting. They're. The thing is, don't think about that. Go up to them now from a coffee, a hot chocolate. I know you're out here. I see you out here every day. I see all of you people out here every day. Don't get mad at them. Don't call them down. Call one of them. Call two of them. Do you want to open up and tell your story? Why? And see what they say. Offer them something. Coffee, hot chocolate. Offer them a cigarette. In First Nation practice. A cigarette opens up a door that you won't believe. Where it's an honor to get given a cigarette from somebody for them wanting to know your story. Lots of people have done that to me. They've offered me cigarettes, blankets, money, whatever. And that's what made me open up and dig into my feelings where I cry and oh, but that's a step in healing. People need that to say, hey, somebody cares. Somebody honestly listened to my story. I think I'll tell it again. Maybe I'll tell this part too, and it'll open it up and it'll make me feel better. Because that's what happens to me. I tell my story and I'm in, oh yeah, and then there was this time. And then there was this time. And that's how I started to heal.
We've run out of time here, but thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much, David. And that's great advice starting out the new year. You know, when you see someone, I mean, if you have the time, just buy them a coffee, buy them a hot chocolate, listen to their stories, sit with them, offer them tobacco, and we can do these little acts to create healing. So let
Yes.
that be your New Year's resolution. And thank you for joining us on Homelands. We will see you in 2 more weeks. And Happy New Year.
Hey, hey,